What's good, YouTube? TGVReacts here with a brand new video. But first, peep the shirt. Peep the shirt. It's fire. Actual fire. Hold up. Let me add some fire to it. How's everyone doing? I hope you are having a blessed day. You can see I'm prepped and ready. I'm going to give you some time to get prepped and ready yourself. Because we got us a good video today, folks. We put 7 Uber drivers in one room. What we found will shock you. So let me get right. And then we going to take flight. Give me a second. All right, folks. 7 Uber drivers in one room. What we found will shock you. By More Perfect Union. Let's get it.
Why does Uber win? Well, because it's rigged in their favor, right?
In 2023, a law professor published a paper with shocking implications. Her research found that tech firms like Uber and Lyft were using secret algorithms to dictate what drivers earn, based on factors we can't even see. She called it algorithmic wage discrimination. And this technology, or revolution, isn't restricted to rideshare companies.
Once that technology is in there, they can raise prices. On a hot summer day, I want a lot of ice cream, I want lemonade. They're running low, they can raise the price.
The price of milk, even your paycheck, the very fabric of our economy, all controlled by invisible and unaccountable algorithms. So about a year ago, I started reaching out to the companies. They largely denied it, only to contradict themselves a few months later. Then I reached out to the academics, and one of the frustrating things was that the evidence seemed to be in the shadows. A single study, a hint in an earnings call, a story from a driver. It was mostly theoretical. Until a few months ago, when I got an email from a guy. I had published a video that argued Uber's newfound profitability came at the expense of drivers and riders. He said we were at the tip of the iceberg. So I called him. We talked. 3 weeks later, I was on a flight to Los Angeles, looking to settle the question once and for all. Are rideshare companies offering drivers different rates for the same work? What I found put the legality of this whole tech revolution in question.
They have broken every single local, state, federal law when it comes to labor, when it comes to transportation.
That's
Man holding that safety handle for dear life, ain't he? Like you don't trust the Uber driver. Okay. I don't know what to say about that. It's just every time I see someone grab that handle, I make a mental note of it. Like, all right, that person might be a little scared for their life.
Sergio Avedian. He sent me the email. He's an experienced driver and a senior contributor at The Rideshare Guy, an influential resource for gig economy workers.
We were used to something called a rate card. We were used to getting paid by time and distance.
Right.
Then, overnight, the transparency vanished, replaced by a secret algorithm that takes into account potentially hundreds of different variables. They called it upfront pricing. Uber's losses turned to profits around that same time. Coincidence? I don't know. Lyft followed suit, and now they claim they're on the path to profitability.
The algorithms are set up in a way to charge the rider as much as it's possible and to pay the driver as little as possible.
A lot of drivers feel Uber and Lyft are paying different wages for the same rides. But we don't really know because the companies, they aren't talking.
We're doing a very simple thing. We're picking up people point A to dropping off point B. I shouldn't make less money than the next guy. I should not. But because it's not regulated, because we don't have rate cards, because we don't know what we're going to make, trip to trip, it's demoralizing, it's upsetting.
So with Sergio's help, we decided to test it. We called 7 experienced drivers to a high traffic area in Los Angeles with the sole purpose of testing. If rideshare companies
They chose Los Angeles of all places, so you know them rides gonna be nothing less than $10. If it is, they just literally test. This whole experiment is a test, first off. Second of all, if they do throw some rides out there for $5, it's legitimately just a test. All right, this driver got $5. Is this driver and the next 5 drivers gonna get $5?
are paying different rates for the same rides. At the start, each driver will activate their screen capture software, open up the app, and place their phones on the table. Why the table? Sergio has done similar experiments, and the rate disparities were blamed on location differences. When the experiments are done, the drivers will send their screen recording to Sergio's team, who will then sync and analyze the fares. And then we're going to see what's really going on.
He's getting paid $1 more if he goes there, according to the map, and nobody else is. Nobody else is seeing that dollar surge.
We found that Uber offered the same rides 46 times to multiple drivers. 63% of the time, one of the drivers was offered a bit less money for the exact same ride.
So mind you, that would just tell you that Uber, Lyft, whatever rideshare company you're using are in control of how much you're getting paid. They like to throw the idea out there, be your own boss. Excuse me. But it's hard to be your own boss when you're employed by somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Especially when you don't have any employees under your belt. So how are you going to really be your own boss if the only asset, or I would say the only resource that you would have at your disposal would possibly be your time, since you get to work, drive at your leisure whenever you want. You're not forced to drive. But let's say, God forbid, you're one of these people who are leasing a car, renting a car from Uber or Lyft to work with them. You're basically lifting and Ubering every day just to make money, because if you don't, you're going to have car note, insurance, on top of whatever bills you got at home. So, you know, that's why I like to just, I work my 9 to 5. I don't try to do any unnecessary extra bullshit. I do my little sports betting, investing, or whatever else. That is it. I don't sit here and try to, oh, let me try this illegal thing and get a big lump sum of money. I don't have time to fuck up my shit that I got going on. So I ain't trying to go off into a tangent. We already got a 12-minute video to slug through. Let's get back to it.
They want to make few pennies difference, and few pennies on 2.7 billion trips a quarter, which is from the last earnings report, is millions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Lyft was even worse. The price gap wasn't just a little off, it was a lot off. We saw differences of up to $3 to $4 after bonuses.
And what I'm noticing too is that a lot of these rideshare people have multiple phones, like 2 phones. So a lot of times, like this right here, they specifically said they hired, they recruited, they brought in 7 experienced drivers. Now, mind you, this started off with just Uber. As you can see the title, we put 7 Uber drivers in one room. Now we on a whole nother platform, Lyft. So you mean to tell me that these same Uber drivers are also operating on Lyft? That means that their entire schedule, all their time is just spent driving, 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 driving. Yes, Bassett. You want to be in the video? She wants to be in the video. Well, then stop mewing if you don't want to be in the video. Yes. So if these drivers are operating on two different platforms and they're still struggling to make ends meet, they're just getting the short end of the stick at the end of the day, because the majority of their time is spent in traffic. And it's not even that they want to, it's that they have to. Because when you look at it, a lot of the times, I get we're in a harsh economic situation right now. Sometimes one job just ain't gonna cut it. I understand that. I get that. But if this is your job and you're only making $5, $10 per ride, mind you, bills nowadays, light bill, you got like what? 150, 200? Water, about 100, maybe 150. Internet, insurance, like I just said earlier, car note, if your car isn't even paid off yet, like, gee, bills are costly nowadays. So a little $5, $10 here and there ain't gonna cut it, which is why these people are working on two different jobs, two different platforms, just driving all day and night, day and night, day and night, because they loop you into this false narrative of be your own boss, but you're literally slaving away for your employer. How does that make you your own boss? It don't. You're literally a cog in the machine. Let's get back to the video, man. My damn joint done went out on me because I'm talking too much, but I'm ranting too much. I'm yapping too much. It's a yap session over here.
And drivers don't know why one person gets a bonus and another doesn't.
Well, that adds up like on 30 trips to $10 a day. That's $300 a month. Why should I get paid less, $300 a month, than the other guy?
I contacted Uber and Lyft to see how they would calculate fares. Lyft, well, they never responded. Uber directed me to a blog post. When I explained the experience,
Lyft said, fuck that. We just gonna ignore it. You don't exist. La 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 la. Uber said, here's a fucking Reddit post, you bozo. Go read up. Ah, that's disgusting. Y'all couldn't even get AI to generate some bullshit to spit out. That's sad. That is just so piss poor sad.
experiment's results, they replied by copying and pasting a portion of that same blog post. The section outlines different reasons drivers could see different fares. But we controlled for everything that we could. We called the drivers to the same space, placed their phones inches apart, had drivers monitoring incoming promotions, and constantly refreshing their screen. The only thing we didn't account for was any secret test Uber could have been running at the time.
And that's where I say that Uber, Lyft, whoever, ultimately controls your dollar at the end of the day. Because if they're running hidden algorithms behind the scenes, unbeknownst to you, the driver, how are you going to know if another driver is getting more money unless they specifically tell you, or you find out by searching on forums and stuff like that? If anything, if you're not tapped in, connected, talking to anyone else, you're not going to know that they're getting paid less or more by taking the same route, taking the same person to the same place, so that's why I say it kind of seemed like an MLM, or just they were really boasting up more than it was when they was doing this whole be your own boss. It's just their whole spiel that they had when Uber first came out,
Which we couldn't because the fare algorithm is secret and the test is secret. There's a whole lot of questions here, like mainly, is this legal? And there's no laws against algorithmic wage discrimination. That article I mentioned at
I want to say because either it doesn't exist yet on a wide scale, or because that's the same thing, really. This is just so brand new that it doesn't exist yet. So pretty much just that.
the start suggests that opaque algorithms can easily facilitate violations of anti-discrimination laws. Uber denies this, but their own research reveals a glaring disparity. Women drivers earn 7% less than men, potentially due to algorithmic wage setting.
That's crazy. So not only are women drivers already probably at a disadvantage out here, because personally, when I used to use Uber and Lyft, I didn't care if it was a man, a woman, black, white. That's really all you would get. The name, I guess. They don't tell you their religion. They don't tell you their political views. So it's like, because none of that shit matters. You are buying a taxi service, a ferry service from one spot to another. Your driver really shouldn't matter too much as far as their name, race, none of that, political views. That's where people like to interject themselves a little too much beyond their means. But women being paid less than men because of algorithmic wage discrimination is just atrocious. Because women already got to deal with that in a normal workspace. So imagine they come out to Uber and Lyft and all this other shit trying to have a fair workplace to just have the same shit they would have just got in a cubicle, you know, or in a brick and mortar building. Sad.
But there's an argument that the entire business model is illegal.
From our perspective, Uber's and Lyft's business model is based on control without responsibility.
That's David Seligman. He's the executive director of Towards Justice, a legal nonprofit that defends workers from corporate overreach. In 2022, the organization helped lead a lawsuit on behalf of 3 rideshare drivers.
The lawsuit says if you are not an employer subject to and accountable to your workers under the labor laws, then you are powerful firms that are abusing your power under state antitrust, competition law, and unfair and deceptive acts and practices laws.
David is describing the cognitive dissonance rideshare operators have when classifying drivers. They want to have it both ways. Uber and Lyft classify drivers as independent contractors, not employers, a crucial distinction. As an employee, you're making money for someone else, which means benefits, protections, and a boss who can tell you what time to show up.
See, that's why I said it sounded like an MLM or whatever when they wanted to tell you, I sound like a broken record. You gonna be your own boss. You sign up with Uber. They had the whole spiel, right? Motherfucker sign up for Uber, find out, oh shit, I'm an employee, and the nigga I was just talking to was my employer, type shit. Like, because how you gonna be a boss if you don't have no employees? Every boss have subjects to delegate. Every boss have employees to send off to work. Like, you can't be a boss and then don't have no type of infrastructure, but you working for somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Like, how you a boss? And then you in a room with everyone else who they done told that same spiel to. So now you in a room with a whole bunch of bosses, but ain't none of y'all got no employees. So how the fuck that look?
But as an independent contractor, you're supposedly making money for yourself, with no benefits or protections, but freedom. You're your own boss.
But see, that's really the reason why they wanted to say that you your own boss, so they can not have to provide you with protections such as insurance, healthcare coverage, and all of that other bullshit. The only thing they would really need to provide you, or not even, because with Uber, when it first came out, you needed your own car. I don't even think they were supplying cars, and if they were, it was a very limited amount. But you needed your own car, your own insurance. Uber was just the front man, like, we can hook you up to a driver that can take you where you need to go. You pay us, we pay them. That's it. You don't ask no questions, and we don't tell nobody your business.
Boss.
If these drivers are, as you say, independent, then they need to have true economic independence. We allege that the companies have denied them that economic independence, most importantly, by taking away their ability to set prices for themselves.
But right now, Uber and Lyft set
But see, that will also be a little atrocious on the driver's part, because if the driver could set their own price, true enough, everybody not gonna set their minimum price to $20, but you're gonna have a lot of people that's gonna probably set their price to $20 minimum just to get them in the car to drive. But that's when you're gonna have competition. Other people are gonna come out and say, okay, he's charging 20, I got 17. You save $3. Next person come out, 15, boom, next one, 13, boom. You see how it's dog eat dog, because everyone out here trying to one up the next person, get the most rides, get the most customers.
prices for riders and wages for drivers to maximize one thing: their own profits. Drivers are left out.
Uber and Lyft are saying we're not one company, right? We're just a platform, and all of our drivers are independent business people.
See, that's just it. Now it's low key looking like Uber and Lyft are scam or just trying to do shit under the table because they know they could get away with it. But really, it's all, technicalities and labels. Like perfect example, this guy right here. Look at this fine, distinguished brother. You look at him, you see the car behind him. He's an Uber driver, Lyft driver, whatever. Same shit, same difference. You wouldn't necessarily look at him and say he's a boss, but you would look at him and say he's working, he has a job, he has employment, he has a way to generate money for himself. But when you have a company who knows they can use your time against you in a way, oh, you don't like people telling you what to do, boom, 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 da 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 da. You enjoy your off time or your free time, period, just your time, period. Okay. And you don't like nobody telling you when you got to clock in. So we got an infrastructure. We got, a platform. You bring your car, make sure you got insurance, and you could just taxi people around the city. They pay us, we pay you. And hey, we don't tell you when to clock in. You go to work when you want to work. You want to work 7 days a week, you can work 7 days a week. Sunday to Sunday. And then you sitting there, you already roped in. It's crazy. It's dangerously crazy. I got close to almost being an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, saying it like it's a horror story almost, but nah, really, it's just that, I saw the capabilities that those people have. It's like they don't necessarily have to go into a 9 to 5. They just get their car and pick people up, drop them off. Smooth, simple, easy. But then it started becoming, oh, your car got to be a certain year. My car wasn't that year. Then I got a car that was that year. And then I was like, do I want to do this really? And I'm like, nah, I don't really want a lot of people in my car I don't know fucking it up. Kids putting their feet on the back of the seat and shit. I'm cool on that tip. This joint keep unraveling. But yeah, that's when I just low-key realized that Uber and Lyft ain't really the path for me. And I'm glad I ain't take that.
Under our antitrust laws, they need to have...
Because I was gonna probably lease one of the cars that they had and then essentially be one of those fuckers out here Ubering and lifting every day just to make $1 for myself.
The economic independence to set their own prices.
We heard something similar at our roundtable discussion after the experiment. Every participant wanted to be an independent contractor. They like the freedom. They also want Uber and Lyft to treat them like actual independent contractors.
When
Everybody
I don't
wanna
have
be
a
their own
control
boss.
over pricing and you keep calling me an independent contractor, there's something very wrong with that picture.
And for drivers dependent on the rideshare platforms to make a living, it's hard when you're making under minimum wage.
Especially for people that do this full time. In California, they're working 70 to 80 hours just to put food on the table, which is really, really rough.
And you look at who's on the board of both of these companies, it tells you that we have nobody on our side, right? When the general counsel of Uber is Tony West and he's the brother-in-law of Kamala Harris.
I did not know that. Future shock. Whoa. Brother-in-law to Kamala Harris. And she's her own mixed bag of nuts on her own. We're not going to get into that on this video, but let me know if you want to know. Or if you want me to get into that, I should say. But that speaks even more volumes to how it's like, because that whole family line just looked like they just snakes. They seem just real snake-like to me.
Then it tells you that these companies are tight with government. Why does Uber win? Well, because it's rigged in their favor, right?
There's a reality where drivers could be actual independent contractors, set their own rates on these platforms, and compete for your business. But that's not our world. Yet. Instead, the companies are spending hundreds of millions of dollars rewriting state labor law to reinforce the idea that drivers aren't employees, while using the fine print to handle private challenges.
That's been absolutely essential to Uber's and Lyft's business model. So while they've tried to race to write laws to their benefit, they've also tried to protect themselves from public litigation through the fine print of their contracts and through arbitration clauses.
That's where David's case, on behalf of the three drivers, ended. A superior court sent it to private arbitration. The end result isn't public.
We should also be clear about is just because you're exempt from laws governing, for example, unemployment insurance premiums, that doesn't mean you're exempt from antitrust laws and competition laws.
Federal and state enforcers aren't subject to forced arbitration agreements. They can investigate and bring enforcement action like that one.
But this issue of algorithmic pricing stretches beyond rideshare.
We're just at the beginning stages of what I feel is like a battle between the common folk and then that managerial class and upwards.
There's credible reporting that Walmart, Amazon, and McDonald's are all experimenting with the technology. Those companies employ over 3 million people. In July, the FTC announced it was investigating surveillance pricing. That's the practice of companies using complex algorithms and untold data points to offer personalized pricing. The fear is that prices for something like children's Tylenol will suddenly skyrocket across major online stores just because you typed infant fever into Google. Why?
But just the idea of what was the word again? Hold on, let me go back.
Rocket across major online fear is that prices for something like children's Tylenol will suddenly skyrocket algorithms and untold data points to offer personalized pricing.
Okay. Personalized pricing. That already sounds anti-consumerism on its own, because personalized pricing means everybody gets their own price. Now, that will only be good if it would be based on your income, right? So that way you wouldn't have to spend 80% of your income on medication or 50% of your income on food, but just personalized pricing, like based on location, is just, because I feel like that's what it is. It's based off of location, and it would be crazy if my next door neighbor gets something for $1 cheaper and they're literally nowhere near the store any more than I am. But let's continue. We're almost done with this video.
The fear is that prices for something like children's Tylenol will suddenly skyrocket across major online stores just because you typed infant fever into Google. Why? Because retailers know you're desperate. The FTC is investigating Walmart, Amazon, and the leading technology vendors. We need to do the same thing, but for wages. The power of these giants lies in their ability to keep everyone, consumers, drivers, regulators, blindfolded. They're backed by billions of dollars worth of sophisticated algorithms and legal gymnastics, leaving us to fight in the dark. Maybe there's an innocent explanation to our fair experiment, but we won't know until the federal government shines a light.
Put that light on them.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you have ideas for stories you want us to uncover next.
All right. So that seems to be about it for this video, folks. I was going to also watch this. I had one over here. It was queued up. How DoorDash and Grubhub Uber are robbing you. That one there is already 16 minutes, so I'll make that a separate video. Yeah, this is going to be one video, and I'm going to have this to be a separate video. Definitely wanted to also look at some movie trailers because I saw 28 years later finally dropped. So let me know what you think about this video, folks. Leave a like if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, comment down below. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're always updated when I drop the next video, like this DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber robbing you video. Yeah, because if you miss that one and then jump into the next one, shit, you might not even know what the next one gonna be because you don't got the notification bell turned on. So go ahead and hit that sub and noti, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Appreciate you for stopping by. Much love from TGV, and yeah, stay highly blessed and highly favored. Can't forget to take a rip before we leave, though. Almost wasn't being myself for a second. Cheers. Ciao.